So no more cursing, Jose, okay? I'm very sensitive to that anyway, Your potty mouth is like...
I took the inclusion course, Jeffrey. I'm not gonna.
So you learned how to curse in a way that makes other people feel like they're a part of it. That's it. I get it. Okay. So, why don't we start? So, as you may know, guys, VoiceThread has been used at FIT for over 10 years now, and it is one of I would say VoiceThread and Padlet are two of the most favorite things that a lot of faculty work with. But there's new ways to work with VoiceThread that are in response to a lot of changes that were requested, by Jose, by myself, running into patterns of problems that different faculty have. Now, Larry, are you using VoiceThread currently?
Yes, I am. I do use it.
And what do you do with it? What do you do with VoiceThread?
Well, I've done two things. I use VoiceThread just as a narrative over my PowerPoint presentations. So as opposed to simply having PowerPoints, I talk it through. So therefore, PowerPoint runs as a little bit of a in background. So I just supplement it, and I find the students really enjoy it as opposed to simply reading a PowerPoint presentation. So I use it for that. I also use it with less success, and I've talked to Jose about it, for discussion boards. And some students like it and some students don't like it for discussion boards. For instance, I use it as an icebreaker. And then as we go along in the semester, I use it for discussion boards, and I alternate between using VoiceThread as a discussion board and using the traditional Blackboard discussion board. So.
Okay, well, that echoes, what I've heard, what we've heard from other people. Look, discussions are hard to manage anyway, and one thing about a VoiceThread discussion is it's going to reveal the lack of participation in a much more dramatic way, as opposed to a student who just doesn't type some text into one.
Right.
So there's a certain amount of coaxing that needs to be done. Lorenzo, how about you? Tell us your VoiceThread story.
I actually use it for my lecture notes, very similar to Larry's. I have my PDFs, and every slide I would give a brief, and maybe every other 3 or 4 slides, I encourage them to answer questions, like a Q&A. And most of them are very happy to leave me information. I also ask them to ask questions if it's not clear, and we can discuss it in class. So it's an asynchronous function, and then we bring it to class. I don't let it listen. I elaborate on certain slides that needed more discussion. And I think this semester I did an assignment builder, and I felt like the students like it more because there's a visual scoring. So, and I realized that I purposely did not do it on one, and one of my students already, Professor, I wanted to see that I got the grade, or have you seen my comments? So I think they're liking it. Last semester already is the first time I used it, and many of my students, it's a mix, but one of my class, they really loved it. This class also likes it. They want a combination, but they're liking that there's that VoiceThread.
So that's great. The one thing that a lot of people forget, okay, is for years and years of teaching, most of us found ways to do things in face-to-face classes that we could recover. If it didn't go well, we could adapt on the fly, right? But when you're working remotely or fully online, there is not that much room for forgiveness. So if a student doesn't participate, faculty a lot of times blame themselves, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say correctly blame themselves, because they haven't practiced enough with the tool that they're doing, So it's kind of like giving a 3-year-old a lawnmower and turning it on and say, here, just push across the grass, and so it takes practice, to do that. So that's one of the reasons why, we have these workshops, that Jose and I both host, sometimes together and apart. But I can tell you from my own teaching practice that I never incorporate something that I don't feel totally comfortable in myself. And I practice a lot more than I care to share with you. before I do stuff with the students, because like all faculty, I'm very concerned about looking weak, incapable, or feeble, because I can't solve a stupid problem, on the fly. And so that's one of the reasons why whenever there is a new product, Jose and I have what we like to call our play dates, where we go through the process as a teacher and as a student. So what we're going to show you today, and Jose and I are going to sort of take turns here, but you're enrolled also, so you should see the Blackboard course. And when I share it with you, I think it's good for you to watch first, and then listen to what's going on, and then you'll get to play too. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and basically here's where we are right now is the way you create a VoiceThread link is unchanged. You would always just go to build content and go and add a VoiceThread. But there are two kinds, right? So if this is a VoiceThread, the choice that you make is really just this. Do you want to enable evaluation or not? If you don't enable evaluation, you will not see the assignment builder. And if you don't see the assignment builder, you can't give credit. As Lorenzo points out, students are much more motivated when they get graded. But there are things you can do that are ungraded also. It's just to have a mix, right? But, I don't think SEALs at Central Park would do tricks if they didn't get a fish once in a while. And students are pretty much the same way. So I'm going to enable evaluation on this. And we often recommend 100 points for anything. Okay, so now we have that. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to walk through, and what I'm going to do, Jose, is if you want to do the narration, I'll first go through the first one where you're directing me, even though we both know how to do this. Why don't we go through it as if you're telling me, right? So I have an ungraded one, and I have a VoiceThread where it's create a VoiceThread, and then I have one that we can do anything with, right? Because it's gradable.
Right.
So which one would you like to do first?
Let's do let's do a discussion, the graded discussion.
Okay, so then that will be this one then, and what I'll do is I'll retitle it after we're done.
Sure.
Okay, so this is pretty much what you guys are accustomed to seeing, right? But this is what changes now. So we're going to go to the assignment builder. Jose, tell me what to do. I want to be your slave.
So one really cool thing they added, and this is like a blessing from VoiceThread from heaven, is that now, as you see at the top, it says step 1, choose activity, right? So they've broken down these steps, and you'll see as Jeffrey and I go along, you'll see step 1, 2, 3, 4, going from left to right. So that's one thing I do like already is that. And also, I don't know if you remember the old VoiceThread, it was very different. This is much more clear. It tells you you can click create. Students are required to make a VoiceThread using a video. Comment is what we're looking for in this case because we're doing a graded discussion. So Jeffrey, you go ahead and click on comment. And now you see the 4 steps that I just mentioned. You got choose activity. Step 2, choose the content. 3, choose options. And 4 is to finalize.
So now we click.
Right. And before Jeffrey clicks continue, what would you say, Jeffrey? The forgotten child is always watch. Very few people use from these 3 options right here. Rarely I ever see anyone use the watch of VoiceThread, which is if you want to make sure that your students watch your lecture VoiceThread or lecture video, VoiceThread will somehow let you know who completed the whole video, right, Jeffrey?
Yes, but without assessment, it's a very low stakes assignment.
Right.
So if you're going to use watch, then I would use it like you use a reading, where it would be part of the assignment would be to watch it, and then the other part might be to write about it. okay, since we're not using it as a discussion tool in that case. Watch just basically punches the ticket for every student who goes in and watches it. But I don't know, Jose, and probably a good question to find out, if they watch 20 out of 40 minutes, will that still show that they watched 20 out of 40 minutes, or will it, just tag them in as having been there?
Yeah.
It's kind of dicey to me, and frankly,
Right.
I don't think that even if we ask faculty to do it when we're training them, I don't think they're going to watch the whole thing.
Right. We can play with that on our next play day, Jeffrey.
Yeah, well, you brought it up, buddy. Okay, so we're on comment and we click continue.
Right.
Okay, now I can select from all the voice threads I've created over the years. Guys, I'm not in love with myself. I just use these as ways to, So what I'm going to do is when I want to choose content, okay, I'm going to add new content instead of this. So the way I do that is, and where is it, Jose, now?
On the top right-hand corner, create a new voice thread. A little bit below, Jeffrey, to the right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Create a new voice thread. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add from my computer. Now, I happen to have a PDF ready for that purpose. And all I need to do is go right here and grab it. Now, what I did was I made a PDF with images. But what I did when I made the PDF is I reduced the file size. When you use reduced file size in Adobe Acrobat, it reduces the images to the maximum resolution of a computer screen because you don't need all that extra resolution for unless you're going to print it at a high quality level. Most screens are about 100 pixels per inch, and that's about what you'll get on this. So I've got it takes a few moments to upload.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to see that we always have this awkward moment when we do it live. But if you were doing this and you saw it spinning, you might get nervous about it, right? And it also depends on how much activity is going on in your house. Like Jose has 2 kids. If they're both on iPads and his wife is also working remotely, then that's slicing up the bandwidth by 4.
Yeah. Now, Jeffrey, I also want to add one quick thing before this thing uploads. Is also that the alternative option, if you were to choose a pre-recorded voice thread as opposed to creating a new one like we're doing right now, this is a new feature in VoiceThread where now it will, if you were to select a previous voice thread, a previously created voice thread for this discussion, it will make a copy of it for you automatically, right, Jeffrey?
Yes, and we'll do that. We'll do that as another option.
Right. I just want to cover that.
While it's uploading, it allows me to give a title to the slides.
Yeah.
Okay, and Jose, what we can do is, I don't know, this is really pretty small file. Mm-hmm. So what we can do is we can go back here while that's happening, and let me go back into content. So this sample, I'm just going to retitle it so we know what it is. I'm going to call it VoiceThread Graded Discussion.
Right.
2 words, right? And then what we can do is I'll just go back and take a peek and see there we go. So now you'll see all the images I put up here. Now, don't worry so much about the cropping because the cropping is always shown truncated here, but you can change the order if you want. So if you see that you made a mistake and you want something to go first, second, or third, this is true, but the way it looks now is much, much nicer. Mm-hmm. Also, we didn't used to see edit slide like we do here, where I could actually, go into each slide and add a title or change a title for that matter. Or if I see one I don't want, I can just delete it. Okay, so anyway, now that we're done with this, because I don't have any type on this. And that's another thing I would recommend to you with VoiceThread is only put a lot of text into your slides if you really want students to read it. It might be just as good for them to hear it and only have text where it's needed. And if I needed to, I could go back and click Add Media and add more.
Mhm.
So let's just say, Lorenza, that you had a couple of instruction pages. You would just click Add Media, and you could add those right in and then rearrange the order any way you want. Make sense so far, you two?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So was there a question?
All right. So now we're up to step 4 here. All right.
Okay,
So
open and comment on it right here, right? I can make a narrative for it.
right. So if Jeffrey wanted to leave a prompt here for his students, so like Jeffrey said, he's not using too much text because he's going to narrate over the slide. In this case, he can just click on the comment bubble and choose the microphone or video.
Yeah, I like to use the audio. That way they look at the image. So I'm recording now because I have skip countdown checked. So just to stop for a sec, let me just take you back through that so you can see that if you look in the lower left, when I click to choose the microphone, very quickly pops up to skip the countdown. So I like to just start talking, and a lot of times I go, oh, I'm recording, and I sound like an idiot, and then I go through. And so now I'm going to tell the story of why these images are here. And I can go in and I can choose a color, and I can say, I love jazz, and I love jazz guitars. And so whenever I go to a club, I'm always sure to get a picture of the guitar that each musician is using, and if I'm lucky, I'll see them later on to talk about it. I also like the French bass, and so I'll circle that. And as I continue through, and piano is pretty good too, and I happen to like this pianist very much. So as I'm going through and I'm talking, the timings of my voice are saved. By the way, this is over at Jazz at Lincoln Center. They have this incredible view of Central Park if you go to a day concert, and so on. So I'm just going through. For those of you who know jazz, that's Houston Pearson, who is like one of the titans of tenor from the earlier days in jazz, and he can still do it. So now that I'm done, I can click stop recording. And instead of listening to myself too much, so I like to just start talking, and a lot of times I go, oh, I'm recording, and I sound like an idiot, and then I go through. I'm so glad we recorded that, Jose. So now that I'm done with my comments and I'm satisfied, I just click continue, right? And this is really important, right? This next screen.
Oh wait, Jeffrey, can we go back for 1 second? I want to also demonstrate you can go back a step, but also I want to demonstrate one last thing that we kind of skipped by, because what Jeffrey did something different here. Jeffrey did it in one shot, meaning that he recorded the slides in one take. So there's also an option to record per slide. So if you want to record per slide, you can do that and just hit record for every slide. The only reason why I kind of recommend doing the per slide is if, for example, you have 30 or more slides, you have a big slide deck, and you don't want to make a mistake. Let's say you're up to slide 29 of your 30, and you make a mistake at the end. Now you have to start from scratch all over from slide 1 and do the whole recording. So depending on what you're doing, it might be best to record per slide, or if you want to do everything in one shot like what Jeffrey did, then you can do it that way too.
Yeah, if I can make a suggestion there also, this isn't like, a political broadcast. First of all, if you have 30 slides, I recommend that you might want to consider chunking that into 15 slides.
Right.
To part 1 and part 2. Only because for your own benefit, plus you're giving students something that is not overly burdensome. Now, to be honest, there are people who love VoiceThread who make 100 slide shows, and students can pause and go back and forth. And I'll show you, that if a student has this option also, they do have this option that they can click on it and go right back to the slide where they left off last. But from a point of view of as a teacher creating content, I try not to re-record. If I make a mistake, I just say, whoops, and I keep going, because the students actually can kind of appreciate some of that instead of sounding like a robot, right? As you go from one to the other, speak conversationally like you're at the old days at the diner with the worn out Formica, and the waitress who calls you honey even though you never met her, and you want it to be a little bit more informal is what I would recommend. So as Jose pointed out, though, you can go in, and especially if you made a mistake, you can go in and re-record that slide, and that would not be a problem. You could actually just go right here and pick the slide that you made the boo-boo on, and you can re-record it right here. So that's one way to do it. We're going to cover some other options, but let's go back to where we were now. And this is where you can select what options students have, right? So most people only are using the microphone or the webcam. I usually turn these off. I don't want uploading in this particular case, right, Jose? And you may want to allow text, especially if you have very shy students. Now, Jose, is there anything here you want to comment about this? I think you might want to talk about enabling comment moderation. I don't know too many people who use it, but it's there to allow you to kind of filter what the students see and hear from each other.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The only time I've used it was for if you're doing an authentic assessment where you don't want the students to copy off each other, then you will enable comment moderation. In that case, students cannot see each other's answers. And so so if you're assessing the student, then that would be the feature that you want to turn on, enable comment moderation. Other than that, the only other setting here that I take a look at is if you want to monitor how long the recordings are, how much time students can record, right? So usually, a minute or 60 seconds or less might be ideal for a discussion. You don't want them to go on forever. You don't want it to start playing. You don't want to start the slides playing from beginning, because that could be annoying for the students. If they click on the voice, the next thing you know is you start talking and they're not ready to listen to you. That could be annoying. So I don't turn that on. And this was crucial, the one that Jeffrey just clicked, when final comment on a slide. And so this is crucial because for discussions, you want to count the initial post counts as one, and then if you want the students to reply to each other, let's say there's 2 replies, then that's a total of 3, right? So you got to remember that VoiceThread does not distinguish between your initial post and a reply to other students. So it counts everything as a post. So if you're looking for 4 in this case, 1 initial post and 3 replies to other students, then you got, oh, I'm sorry,
this is when you record a comment. Like when you insert a comment, it will not automatically advance to the next slide. But if you check this off about 4 or whatever seconds you want it to be after the recording is stopped, it will automatically advance. Jose, this is a correction to the fact that people had to hit the advance button.
Oh, yes. So this will automate the process, so it will go on to the next slide. They don't have to click on. Right, Jeffrey. I was confusing that with the number of comments required.
Yeah, well, we're going to get there though, because I have faith that that's in the finalization stage. Also, there are cases where you might want to allow students to download it. And when they download it, they're going to get a video. They're not going to get a real voice thread. They're just going to get something they can play back. Now, there are occasions when that can be very valuable, especially if you are encouraging students to use that material for reference later on. We all hear from faculty that they don't want the students to download anything or to copy anything, but the fact is, anything they can see on the screen, they can photograph with their phones, and they can record your videos. So yeah, don't make it easy for them, but don't obsess about it either, because you're wasting your energy.
Right.
Okay, so we've done that. And now here's where Jose was talking about the assignment instructions and where you can control some of the settings here, right? So I can set a start date. I'm going to make the start date today. Okay, and whoops. And I'm going to make the end date, the due date, like say Friday, which is my wife's birthday. I better remember that one. You can choose to allow students to resubmit the assignment. In other words, if they didn't do it well. And you can also allow them to view the assignment after submitting, which these, in my opinion, this one is a pedagogic choice, right? You want students to be able to go in and continue to improve upon what they've done, or do you want to just say one shot and you're done? Okay, but this one, after submitting, I don't know why you wouldn't want them to view it, right? Unless there was like some kind of secret information in there, you know, that you didn't want them to be able to remember. So, you know what, Jose, the amount of comments, I think I missed that.
Yeah, it was the previous, anyway, but it was the previous step. But again, it was the same idea. It's, if you're going to have the initial post, just make sure you add the initial post to the total. And well, actually,
yeah, but you could go back and edit it, right? Like that's
exactly.
what okay, so I believe it's over here.
Yep.
I did that deliberately.
Well, remember, we couldn't do this in the past, Jeffrey. We couldn't.
Right.
We weren't allowed now. So this is a beautiful thing, right?
There are a number of comments. Jose likes 3.
Right. So 1 initial post and 2 replies. Let's call it, right, Jeffrey?
Right, and that's what you would put in the instructions, right? So this is the thing I like to tell people about discussions, no matter what, right? Is, you know, you give them all the details about what the point of the assignment is and stuff like that. And then you get down to say, make your first post by, and you give them a date. You don't have to make it like just say around February 19, and then reply to 2 others at well-spaced intervals of at least 1 day by February 22. Just making this up. So you're giving the students guidance that makes the asynchronous conversation go well. Now, what I do with my students is if they do them all at one time, no matter how brilliant they are, it's a D. You know, because the purpose of having a conversation, right, is to make a post and then review what other people have done and to comment in an asynchronous way. So they figured that out pretty quickly. So now that we're done, what I would like to do now is to suggest that we all can go in now, all of us, and actually make a comment. And what I'm going to do is become a student. Now, when I become a student, guys, I don't know if you do this, I just want to make sure. You should always go into settings, which is supposed to show. What's going on here? Why isn't it showing? Let me try that again. Oh, here. It looks, you know what? It's like a little bit of an anomaly there. Did you see that? It got hidden behind the other guy.
Yeah, you should do the go in student preview before you're in VoiceThread.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let me go back out. So I'm going to go exit preview. and I
We broke it, Jeffrey.
I have to use the back button, unfortunately. And this is something Jose and I have learned in a couple of occasions, that sometimes you can't find your way back. Right? This is a Blackboard issue. I don't think this is a VoiceThread issue. So
there's never a play date where Jeffrey and I don't break something. So
now I'm going to become a student. Jose, become a student too.
yes, I'm in there already.
Okay, and when you go to settings, always make sure that the first and the third items are checked. That keeps you as a preview user or a student in your class. You have to do this once in every course you teach. Otherwise, when you're done, it will erase everything you did. So now as a student, I'm going in and I'm going to see what my professor wants me to do. And there's the instructions, right? Make your first post, do blah, blah, blah. Now, I actually get more detailed than that, because I'll suggest to them that they go through the entire slideshow and pick 3 different things. Hint, hint, not the first 2 pages. You know, and then I can go in now and I can become a student. I am a student, but I'm not going to make a comment because I'm already in there. It will confuse things, but I'm going to ask Lorenza and Lawrence, you can both go in and give it a try. Somebody in a submarine. So I'm going to refresh and see if anything's cooking. Jose, how about you?
Yeah, I already recorded a comment. Oh, but you know what? We set it to 3. So maybe just let's go back into the edit settings and set it to 1 comment. So let's make it simpler so that it could be graded.
Okay.
Again, this is the beauty now that you can actually go in and change the settings before this upgrade. If you set your comments to 3 and you had forgotten what they were set to, there was no way possible to go back and figure out how many comments were required or even to fix it. But now with this new feature, we can actually change the settings in the back end.
I wonder if it's saved what I just did. It did.
Uh-huh.
There's no save button here, right? So I just put in 1 and I hit continue.
Right. And publish.
But Jose and I can break anything, you know, at least once. So, you know, it's never a problem. Okay, so I'm going to go to the assignment content. And you can see that Jose has made a post. If I go here, you know, one thing, Jose, it used to be when you did this, you would see a little number next to the posts.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Like number of posts.
Yeah, it's not showing your post.
Yeah, that's true. I think that was before in the past they would tally up the total posts per.
Yeah, it would say like 5, for example.
Right.
Okay. The other thing is, it's not showing you.
Yeah, I think because I went through student preview, I'm going to do another post as my regular.
Well, Larry's doing one, and so is Lorenza. So why don't we give a minute?
Sure.
Larry, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Jeffrey, am I supposed to be enrolled in the course? Because I
You
don't
are
see,
enrolled in the course.
I don't see. I go back into Blackboard. I don't see I don't see the
Larry,
question.
go,
I'm having a hard time as well. I feel like I'm in a
Look-
I
different.
love to listen to jazz music when I have
look
free
where it
time.
says no term on your homepage.
Okay, hold on.
And that may be hidden. That may be hidden, Larry.
I'm gonna go
You might
look. Yeah, I'm gonna look.
You might have to go to the gear and turn on no term.
Okay, got it. No term. Let me just see. No, Jeffrey, the only thing I see is that course from last summer, which you and Jose and Antonio and Tammy put together.
Oh, yeah, let's see. Well, Lawrence, this is you, right? Lawrence Delson?
Lawrence _ Delson, that's me.
I
Not
don't
Larry
think
Delson.
Yeah, I don't think I'm in class. Where do I go? I don't see that one.
Oh, Lorenza, I don't see you.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, here, let me do it. Lorenza, you're not crazy. It's me.
Oh, okay. No wonder. It's like, where is this?
It's like a high school. It's not you, it's me. I just need more space. Okay, try refreshing now. You should be okay.
Okay, let me try as well, Jeffrey.
Now, what I want you to do, Larry,
Yeah.
is go to your home page.
Yep.
And then not the course homepage, your Blackboard homepage.
Yep.
And go to the gear. And then
Yep.
look over here where it says group by term.
Okay, group by term. Yep.
And one of them should be no term. If that's not checked off, then that's why you're not seeing it.
By term. Hold on. It is checked off. Hold on. Let me just go again. Let me refresh, Jeffrey, because I don't see it.
Jeffrey, is the course available?
You know,
'Cause
Tammy,
I
I
don't
mean,
see it either.
you're not enrolled. Hey, you know what? It's not available.
I'm looking for it as well. I can't find it.
I don't
Yeah.
see it either, Jeffrey.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
You know, why didn't anybody catch that?
I missed it.
Do I have to catch everything I do wrong? Where the hell is it now? I need eagle eyes here. Here we go. No,
Is it just
Yeah.
it is on. Look.
Huh.
It says I can see not currently available.
Because
Yeah,
for
but
some
look,
reason,
Jose,
it's
here.
a discussion board. Do we go to a content? Oh,
Hold on a second. Why is that? Why is that show? I just checked it off. You guys saw that. It was already checked off, actually.
Mhm.
Let me go into the course and do it the old-fashioned way. If I can remember, I think you have to go to packages and utilities. No, customization.
Yeah, I don't even see on the list on the quickly.
It's checked off. I just checked it. It's checked off.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm just looking for, I forget where it is now. There's a way to do it that's not, yeah, here we go. Make course available, yes.
Oh, wow.
Quickly did not catch that one, Jose.
That
I
is
don't know
weird.
why.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody do a refresh now. You should be able to
I
get
see
in.
it now. Yeah.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
But that was weird, why that happened. I'm going to go.
Really weird.
Yes, now I see it as well. Yep.
All right, so just do the voodoo that you do.
Is that a quickly issue?
You know, I think I know what it is, Jose. I renamed the course. It's confused.
Uh,
So are we going to the VoiceThread graded discussion?
You go into content,
Right.
VoiceThread graded discussion.
Discussion.
And we're only going to take a couple of minutes, guys, because you're all experienced users, no pun intended. And what we'll do is we'll go back and create the other kind. Okay, so here, Antonia and Lawrence are in there, but they haven't attempted yet. So that's why we're seeing this.
Which
It's
is
got
weird.
much better manners than it used to have, Jose.
Yeah.
I can't get in. I don't know why.
Well, Lorenzo, you're watching, right?
Yeah, I'm watching. I somehow I couldn't get in Blackboard. I mean, it says no term, but it's giving me a different course, like new VoiceThread sprint.
That's it.
That's the one.
Yeah, but when I open it, it directs me to a discussion board.
Yeah.
Doesn't-
The discussion board. Everything I see is a discussion board. I can go to a VoiceThread group work, but it doesn't show me the same.
No, you're not in the right course.
Yeah.
Lorenzo, I'm not sure what's going on, but we're running out of time, so we need to do the alternative version now.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll just watch, but I can't get it in my Blackboard
really-
thing.
I love to listen to jazz.
Me too. So
That's a
Lawrence is in progress.
Beautiful guitar that he's holding.
Antonia is in, but she hasn't done anything yet. I'm going to remind her.
I'm working on it.
It says, hurry up, hurry up. No. So what we're going to do, guys, so we can refocus our efforts, is we're going to do one more thing. We're going to show you how to create a VoiceThread assignment where students add their own voice threads.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, personally, this is one of my favorite assignments because the students all have their own VoiceThread accounts. They can do almost in their own account, they have the equivalent of the same ability as a teacher. So they can create their own VoiceThreads, and there are many students that use VoiceThreads to do presentations. So here we have Creative VoiceThread graded with gallery. Now, no more fooling around. Watch what we're doing here, okay, guys? Okay, so what we're going to do is I already had created this, so just so we could get started, but I'm going to go into edit assignment because we actually didn't build it yet. So this is called, you look at that, it's unfinalized, Jose. That's weird.
Yeah, it remembers where you. Yeah.
It's because I created it ahead. Okay.
Right.
So what we're doing is students are going to make their own VoiceThread, and it will automatically be added to this VoiceThread, and it'll be viewable as a gallery. So this is a really good thing because it gives students they can work in groups or individually on this. So when we click create and we choose continue.
Oh, one quick. Can I make a quick comment on that, Jeffrey?
Yeah, please interrupt me.
That was never there before. So if you remember back into the old VoiceThread, if you have presentations and students are creating their own presentations, there's no way possible to have. I mean, there was a long way around it, but it was a big trouble for you to have students' presentations as an exhibition so they can all see each other. Now with the student gallery, once all students create their presentations, they can all see each other's work.
Right. So here's the tricky part, right? So let's just say there are 20 students in the class. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them to comment on 3 others. And I'll put that in the directions. I don't want them to interact. Let's just say it's a peer review assignment where students will evaluate each other's work with constructive commentary. So we're enabling all these things. And here's the tricky part, right? And actually, I'm going to check this off too. But here's the thing that people will forget. In Dagnabbit, they put it at the very bottom, but it allows students to see each other's submissions for this assignment. So when they go in, they're going to see the whole Megillah. Havanagila, actually. No, just kidding. Um, and and then when I click continue, this is where I would put create and submit a voice right here. Like I said, my instructions are very detailed, but they're bullet points. You will create a voice thread on this topic, and then you will add it here, and then and I give them like numbered points, and it tends to work out much better that way. So the only thing I haven't done is I didn't create anything to show them. Because the assignment is for them to do all the creation.
Right.
Okay, so as soon as this shows, what I'm going to ask you to do, Larry, is just go in as yourself in this course. That's very interesting what just happened, Jose, don't you think?
Yeah, usually it will say success and then take me back to course. So let me go in. I'm going as a student and create my voice thread.
Yeah, let me go in and see if it even is done. Good. Okay, now there's a couple of things to notice here. Because Antonia and Larry submitted to the other voice thread, it now has you registered as students in the class. Okay, so at this point, if I click student gallery, there's going to be nothing there. Jose, something's wrong here. Oh, you know why? Because I'm not a student. We're going to have to. Hey, Larry.
Yeah,
Larry, are you still there?
Yep, I'm here, Jeffrey.
Okay, Larry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to share your screen, and we're going to walk you through it.
Okay.
Because I'm not an official student, I don't even think preview will work properly here. So I'm going to cease sharing. And Jose, we just need to make sure he has the privilege. Let's see, I'm there. I'm making you a presenter.
Okay.
So now you share your screen.
Okay, hold on.
Jose, I learned so much today about what not to do.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, you and I are in as instructors. We're not in as students. So yeah, unfortunately, Jeffrey and I cannot participate in this assignment.
Okay. So you want me to share my screen now?
Yes, dear.
Put Larry on the spot.
Antonia, you can try it also if you want. All right, great. So you're going to go to the second one.
Okay, create voice thread graded with gallery, correct?
Right. Yes. Better work.
Yep, there it is.
Okay.
Excellent. I'm so glad we're recording this too. Okay, so what you can do is you could either create one.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, or I think if you click Jose,
Yep,
I
start
think
assignment.
Start assignment?
Yeah.
Can't he see his other voice threads?
Yeah, but he has to click start assignment first.
Okay.
Okay, so start assignment.
Excellent. Now, yeah, look at the choices. This is wonderful.
Yeah, but Lorenzo and I also figured out that it's a little tricky here. There's another level of options. If you don't scroll down, you'll never see it.
All right. So take a picture, record audio, slide, add from computer, right?
Yeah.
What about your actual existing voice threads?
You mean my voice threads from my course, or
Sure.
from this course?
No, I'm thinking it might be easy just to. I think you would click maybe. Jose, this is interesting, right?
Yeah, so in this case, this type of assignment would be something where you would, let's say, for example, create a PowerPoint presentation, go to add from my computer, upload your slides, and then you would narrate over those slides, and then hit submit, and that would be like your present. But yes, Jeffrey, you're right. In this case, it doesn't give you the option to locate pre-existing voice threads. There is no option here for you to go find pre-existing.
So Larry, click Add from Computer for now, just so we and just grab like any kind of JPEG you got laying around.
Okay, or not a PowerPoint, or I'm going to use from one of my courses. So
you know why I'm saying don't do it, because we're running low on time. So if you just grab a single picture,
all right, let me
no matter what it is, it'll.
I gotta be careful what picture it is.
You're gonna be on vacation somewhere.
I see the NFW file. Don't go there.
Okay. Here, how about a picture of me talking someplace?
Good.
There you go.
I have a question. So this is a homework that basically it's students' presentation. You don't really add a PowerPoint and ask them to do a presentation, right? Something like that.
No, you just tell them what you want them to do.
Okay.
Okay, so he's got a slide there. He can now
click on the left.
So then, so Jeffrey, the next step he can do is continue, and then you move to step 2, which is open and comment.
So I would click continue as an example.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Jose. All right. And here, so I could either.
There you go.
I'm the handsome guy on the left.
I thought this was an old picture and you were the guy on the right. Okay.
I just opened up a Pandora's box.
So click save.
And then save.
There you go. Hit save, right?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So now you could stop sharing, Larry. And I'm going to go in as the teacher now.
Oh wait, did Larry hit submit?
I'm pretty sure he did. I saw the. We'll find out.
Yep. Make sure you hit submit, Larry.
I thought I did.
I think he did. I think he did. All right. So let me go in and refresh here. Okay. So it says Larry's in progress. So look, there it is.
There it is.
Right.
And I can give him a grade.
100, I hope.
Well, 0, 100, no.
He gets 100 for being handsome.
So Jose, this could be like an option or another way for let's say from a Padlet, right?
Right, for presentations.
Yes.
For example, so if you're doing student presentations or you're doing exhibitions and you want students to, let's say, create a PowerPoint, slides, speak over them, and then again, this will be asynchronous as opposed to them presenting live in a live session. So these will be pre-recorded. Now, one thing I do like about this type of assignment is that although students don't realize this, they re-record a lot of these slides, and they listen to themselves. So the whole process of creating these presentation slides is a learning experience because they're listening to themselves. They're redoing it multiple times, re-recording themselves as we were to record. If we were creating our own presentation, most of the time we record and until we get it right. So it is a great exercise for students to do.
Jeffrey, if you could later enroll me, because I believe you enrolled me in VoiceThread Spring 2021 instead of VoiceThread workshops.
Well, let's take a look.
Yeah, let me I'll check too, Jeffrey. Just make sure you're in there, Lauren.
Here, so it's the new VoiceThread workshops, and it's users, and you're right there, Lorenzo.
Yeah, it doesn't show in my thing. That's why. Sorry.
I have a feeling you're not seeing no term.
I do. I see no term, but the course that I'm there is new VoiceThread Spring 20.
That's it.
But when I
Yeah.
open the course. But which folder should I open?
So if you go to content, Lorenza, and then click on the one that says create a voice thread graded with gallery.
It doesn't, that's not what shows. You know what shows here is event agenda outline, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. It's
I
bizarre.
logged in. Yeah, I logged in as you, Lorenza. I do see it.
Oh, you
make
do?
sure,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
make sure you're in no term new voice thread workshops. At the bottom, the last course all the way down at the bottom. And it says no term assigned. It says no term new voice thread workshops. Click on that.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. I guess I'm enrolled in 2 courses and I'm looking at the first one. My apologies.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, I see you have it both.
Yes.
Is the
Sorry.
last one at the bottom?
Yes. Yes. Now I saw that. I didn't go scroll all the way down. I assume it was the first one.
Yeah, you're in now.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, Jeffrey, what are we doing next?
It's 1:58. We're taking questions.
Oh, okay.
So, guys, this was a maiden voyage where Jose and I learned a great deal about what works and what doesn't work, you know, in a more nuanced way. And even though we've been playing with this, it isn't until we actually got to see what Larry's view is as a student that we actually could see some of the things that we need to dodge. The other thing is that I didn't know, candidly, that you couldn't just go into your repository of voice threads and add them unless you were to use a link. But if you use a link, I don't know if you'll have full privileges on that. That's another thing we have to test, Jose, is if we get a share link on an old voice thread, can we put that in and use it?
Right. My guess is this type of assignment is focused on students, you know, creating their, going either on PowerPoint or going on Keynote, creating their own slides, uploading them directly to VoiceThread, and then just recording their voice over it. It won't allow them to grab an old, you know, voice thread that they have made previously. So keep that in mind. Again, this works great for presentations, exhibitions, that sort of thing, where the students have to upload their slides to VoiceThread and then record over them in that way. And you know, Jeffrey, you know what I like about this is that, again, we're doing remote teaching. So if you don't want to have to deal with students with poor bandwidth and they're disconnecting and the issues of troubleshooting while they're presenting in real time, hey, go to VoiceThread, have the students record their slides, upload their slides, record their slides, upload them asynchronously, and then there you go. You have now you have student gallery, which we didn't have before, and we can all see each other's presentations that way. So I like that route better.
Me too. Me too. So, you know, what I would just say is that, you know, Jose and I are happy to work with you. But I do recommend the Creative Voice Thread assignment because it really is a good exercise for the students to practice telling a story, responding to something you're asking them to do in a way that is not difficult for them. We have very, very few complaints from students about using VoiceThread. I would say 98.999% of them come from faculty. And that's because faculty have 10 things to do for every one thing a student does.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of like Blackboard related issues. Students just have to go in and click on the things you're pointing them to and follow the directions. But teachers are creating original content all the time. And so there's more effort required in doing that. So be patient with yourself. My suggestion is if you want to try one of these things, that you make an assignment, put it together, and anticipate using it in a few weeks, not like next week. And then, Jose or I could go in and take a look with you to troubleshoot it. Because you want to be able to hand it off to them and let it be their issue. Otherwise, you could end up holding their hands and doing a lot of support that's preventable. Anything else, Lorenzo, Larry? Do you guys have any questions?
No, I just tried the create the gallery. I think it's pretty cool. I think this is a great way, especially if like my class is textile. So if it's a good way for them to explain a swatch. Maybe I'll ask them to present a swatch, and then they just do a whole description. So I just did a quick one, and I thought it would be fun for them. And you can kind of have everybody do it, in a short. It doesn't have to be so hard. Just to give them.
Then when they click on gallery, they can see everybody's submission, and then they can go in and click view thread to see it. So, Jose, I think that we learned enough to really refine this, and we had 2 guinea pigs. So I'm just going to say one thing. Thank God 25 people didn't show up to this session.
Well, no, we got our two favorite guinea pigs here. Those are our favorites, our VoiceThread users here.
I hope I submitted correctly, because I mean, I don't know. I guess I thought I listened to myself, so I just want to